We're back now with some breaking news from Hollywood, and it's sad news. Bruce Willis is retiring from acting after being diagnosed with a devastating brain condition.
Let's bring in US correspondent Michael Genovese, who joins us now from LA. Jenna, good morning to you. This came as a real shock to everyone.
Yeah, it did. Finding out that he has now been recently diagnosed with a condition known as aphasia, which is a language disorder, and it's caused by damage to a certain part of someone's brain. Now, often this condition can form after someone suffers from a stroke, although not always, and eventually it effectively could rob someone of their ability to communicate. Bruce Willis has just turned 67, which was a milestone that he celebrated with a photo with Demi Moore, who was his former wife of 12 years. They posted it to social media just last week when he turned 67. Of course, they have 3 children together, and that's the statement there by Rumer Willis. So that's from his daughter, saying that, as Bruce always said, live it up, and together we plan to do just that. The news released by her and Demi Moore in a joint statement from family today, letting fans know just what's happening with the movie star, who has been busy of late. So for a lot of people, this has come as a surprise. Yeah,
I mean, you say that incredibly busy. We were just hearing earlier that he's got 8 films in post-production right now. He's had an amazing career, hasn't he?
He has. His first appearance on our screens was back in 1980, but it was, for me anyway, it was Die Hard, which was filmed back in 1988. There he is in the air vents of the Nakatomi Plaza, which is over in Culver City. It's still standing there, the Fox building. So everyone's here in Hollywood sort of knows it and thinks about it when you drive past it, made famous by this movie. Of course, there was the whole Die Hard franchise that followed after that. He was also in Armageddon, Karl, which is a favourite of yours. I mean, that is a classic flick. Back in 1998 now, that was released. So he's been around for such a long time, more than 40 years on our screens, and as busy now as he ever really has been, because you look online, you see just how many projects he's still got yet to be released, and you count back just the last 3 years alone, he's been starring and featuring in more than 20 movies here in Hollywood. So there he is with Demi Moore, his ex-wife. A career coming to an end today that has been rivaled by few here in Hollywood.
Gee, that's sad news. I mean, there's just a whole host. I mean, there's Pulp Fiction. Even before that, right, with Sybil Shepherd, it was huge in Australia at the time. Moonlighting. And like everyone was like, everyone used to follow that by the week, and it became a superstar out of that. So
Jackal.
Yeah. Jackal was.
There's been so many. Hudson Hawk.
There's been some truly horrific films as well. But
well, I can't believe he didn't get an Oscar for Die Hard or Armageddon.
Armageddon, yeah. Best song, did we say?
He was robbed.
Yeah. Feel sorry for his family. That's a hell of a transition, isn't it?
It is.
Good on you, mate. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Well, more now on that breaking news from Hollywood. Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with a crippling brain condition and will be stepping away from acting. His family making the announcement overnight. Entertainment reporter Sam Rubin joins us now from LA. Sam, good morning to you. This was such a big shock for everyone.
A really big shock, except for those who had worked closely with Willis over the last couple of years. Karl, good morning to you, but a sad morning for fans worldwide of Bruce Willis. 140 roles under his belt. Of course, Moonlighting, the TV show, Die Hard, those films, and so many more. But Bruce Willis has been having difficulty for the last couple of years. His last big M. Night Shyamalan film, Glass, there he is with Demi Moore. Very interestingly here, he has great relations with Demi Moore, his current wife, Emma, and all their kids together. And the statement was released from all of them, saying that Bruce is going to step away from acting because this condition, which is called aphasia, essentially affects cognitive abilities in a very significant way, the ability to both speak, to communicate, and to understand. And he has been afflicted with this increasingly so, to the point now where he simply cannot act in front of the camera.
Such a well-loved actor globally too, and also obviously he had his difficulties with his own family at times, but well-loved within his family in such a big way. It's so tough for them, right?
Extraordinarily tough, and this message that they sent out worldwide, written by Rumer Willis, is really terrific, and saying essentially, as Bruce always says, live it up, and together we plan to do just that. That's the conclusion of her remarks, but she sort of goes into detail, saying to fans worldwide, you deserve to know because he means so much to you, and your fanship has meant so much to him. and this relationship that they've had. Last couple of years, Bruce has done a series, and he talks about it, of paycheck movies, where he appears in films very briefly as pictures on the poster, but he's done well over a dozen of them, quite a few. But they were saying the last few, he had to wear an earpiece where the lines were fed to him. It was more and more difficult just to go through the rudimentary steps of memorizing lines and saying them to camera. It's a really, this of course Sixth Sense, which is one of his more remarkable films. Really good actor, and as you say, a really, really good guy. You might remember the Comedy Central roast several years back, which he took in great humor and absolutely ripped him to shreds. It was great.
Well, he's had a pretty good sense of humour about it all the whole way along. Even the Razzies, what was it last week? They had the worst of Bruce Willis films, a whole category. I mean, he made some absolute Barry Crockers in the last couple of years, but we all know how good he has been in so many different films. I think 8 projects in post-production now. So we're going to get to see a little bit of him.
I think we will see more of Bruce again. These are generally action films where he kind of steps in as the head of the department or something and sometimes you could tell if you watch closely, he's not even really playing opposite anybody. Again, it's just to have his name on the poster and in the title. But these are lucrative, quick things for him. He's had a big career, a lucrative career. The fact that he's 67 years old, this generally doesn't do you in. Dick Clark, the American presenter, had this affliction and went on the air with it for about 12 additional years. Many years ago, Sharon Stone got it in her 40s, often resulting from a stroke or other brain hemorrhage activity. Sharon Stone relearned how to speak, relearned how to read. And so you can come back from it. We talked to a lot of experts here in Los Angeles, and they say it's very unlikely that Bruce Willis's family would have made this announcement and his age at 67 that he's likely to come back for it. So that's unfortunate.
All right, that is sad news. Sam Rubin, thanks so much.